Welcome in to Extreme Talk, presented by Cornett Performance. Of course, I'm talking about former 8-man football player Eli Cornett. Just a little bit about it. Cornett Performance, they offer one-on-one and group training, speed and agility training. It's football and track focused, and each client or athlete will have their own personal customized program. It's for ages 10 and up, and online training sessions are coming soon. You can hit them up on Instagram at Cornett Performance. You can hit them up, you can shoot them an email, cornettperformance@gmail.com. And, of course, new times and dates are available. And you book your free in-person or online 30-minute assessment today, again, through Instagram or email. It's Gmail is cornettperformance@gmail.com. And we'll go through the watch list that they put out yesterday. And if you're not following them so far right now on social media, it's at Gatlinburg. You would think I would know it. At Gatlinburg All-American is the Instagram. And, of course, they just put out the watch list. It's pinned at the top. And you can check that out. They've got the watch list for the Rising Stars, the juniors, and the seniors. So a big shout-out to him. We'll have him on at 3:30. Not joined by Blake Biggs today. So it kind of kills the joke. I was going to make a joke about yesterday. But, all right, let's run through these scores real quick. Let's see. All right, let's run through these scores real fast. Let's start in Alabama. I've got some feedback. There we go. Let's kill the feedback. Let's start in Alabama. AISA. Coosa Valley, 2-0 forfeit win over Southern Prep. Southern Prep forfeiting that game. Macon East, 64-12 over Evangel Christian Academy there in Montgomery. Macon East, 2-0 on the season. Escambia Academy, one of the teams that made the move to the 8-man division, 74-0 over North River Christian. And then Snook Christian at Cornerstone Christian. This game played Friday night, and Cornerstone moves to 2-0 on the year with a 50-22 win over Snook Christian. So currently, Cornerstone, Escambia, Coosa Valley, Macon East, all 2-0. Thursday night, there was a game also. Springwood School, 42-27 over Trinity Christian. Trinity Christian's first varsity game, bringing football to they brought football to the school, and Springwood able to get back in the winning column with that one. Let's jump to the ACAA, CFA West. Jacksonville Christian, all these games from Friday. Jacksonville Christian, 54-20 over Tuscaloosa Christian. Tabernacle on the road at Trinity Christian. The Eagles 40-14 win over the Torches. And Newton County Academy on the road at Russell Christian there in the CFA. Newton County Academy 32-31 over Russell Christian. Great game there. Let me see if anybody put up stats. Newton County did. Let's see. We've got Taylor Burt, 27 carries, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns. You've also got Cooper Savell, 25 carries, 138 yards, and a touchdown. And Savell also had 2 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown. So shout out to those 2 young men, biggest offensive contributors. Savell also cashed in 7 tackles, as well as Brady Thorne. Let's see, I mentioned Burt. Burt had a sack. Thorne had an interception. So those young men, Taylor Burt and Cooper Savell, big-time contributors for Newton County Academy over their win against Russell Christian on Friday night. Let's jump to the ACSC. Cornerstone and somebody else were out of action this past week. Let me see. I've got it pulled up. Victory, and Cornerstone both out of action. Let's jump to the ACSC. Lighthouse Warriors hosting American Sports Prep, 45-6 win for the Warriors. They're 2-0 on the year. Southern Christian hosting Baker County. Southern Christian 3-0 on the season with a 64-6 win over Baker County High School. They're from Georgia. And then the Freedom Ezekiel Academy hosted the Freedom Cowboys, and Cowboys 38-0 over Ezekiel Academy. And a big shout out to Southern Christian. Of course, you saw East Central stream against Tuscaloosa Christian last week. You've got Trinity Christian Eagles. They're streaming their games to 8-Man Extreme Alabama now. So big shout out to all three of them. And then, of course, you've got the Augusta Eagles in Georgia. You've got Real Life Christian Academy, who are re-uploading their games to the Georgia channel, or Florida channel, rather. So big shout out to them. Let's jump to the Heartland Christian Athletic Association in Arkansas. Still don't have a score for Arkansas Christian, Unity Christian. That game played on Friday. Let me back up, though. On Thursday, Crossover Prep hosted Wilson Henrietta, 42-26 win for Wilson Henrietta. Subiaco Academy, they were supposed to host Southwest Christian. Forfeit loss for Southwest Christian, forfeit win for Subiaco. And then Abundant Life, 42-30 win over Destiny Christian. So Abundant Life moves to 2-0 on the season. Let's see. Let's stay in Arkansas. Let's run through the AAA, the Athletic Association there in Arkansas for high school athletics and public schools. Got some 8-man there. Let's start in the north. Hermitage High School 72-58 over Southside. Midland 36-6 over Dermott. And Cedar Ridge 36-6 over Rosebud. Let's jump to the south real quick. Those were north versus south matchups. And then the one I didn't talk about, in the club division. Marshall High School 38-36 over Cave City. Barn burner there. I'm looking at the box score, no stats. So I'd love to give those young men a shout out. What a great game in the Ozark State, I think it is. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go Louisiana. Let's talk about Louisiana real quick. Had 4 games last week. You had one on Thursday night. Mid-State Homeschool 64-12 over First Baptist Christian. Mid-State Homeschool 3-1 on the year. On Friday, you had JPG 60-0 over Mount Olive Christian. JPG 4-0 on the year. And then you had the North Shore Vultures at Freedom Life Academy. No score reported for that one yet. And then Acadiana Christian at SWLA. And the Knights take their first loss of the year. Acadiana 24-16 win over SWLA. No stats for that one. Of course, just played last night, so still playing a little bit of catch-up. Let's see. Let's go to Mississippi. Let's talk about the Mid-South Christian Football League. 2 games played yesterday. Pine Belt Spartans 40-24 over the Magnolia Wildcats. And then a previously unbeaten team, the Meridian Flyers. SHAE, let's see, that is, trying to see, something Home Educators. Maybe Southern Association of Home Educators. 42-6 win in that one against the Meridian Flyers. And so, if I'm not mistaken, SAHE, try saying that 3 times fast. They are 3-0 on the season. Let me see if I can find what that stands for. Let's see. SAHE. I'm not really seeing what it stands for, so I'll do some digging. We'll see if we can figure out what it stands for. So that's Mid-South Christian Football League. Let's go to the MAIS. Run through those scores real quick. We'll start with 1A. Christ Covenant 28-22 over Silva Bay. Let's see. Nothing in the box score, no stats. So good one there. Humphreys Academy 54-6 over North Sunflower. Deer Creek 44-0 win over Kemper. Delta Streets 20-8 over Lee Academy. Columbus Christian 54-34 over Benton Academy. Prairie View 46-0 win over Riverdale. Talked about Newton County and Russell Christian. And then Tunica Academy 76-56 over Delta Academy. So some high-scoring games there in Mississippi. Let's jump to MAIS 2A real quick. Let's see if there's any games I didn't talk about. Marvell 56-0 win over Hebron. DeSoto 36-14 win over Calhoun Academy. Claiborne Academy 48-6 over Tallulah. And Central Holmes 55-14 over Heritage Christian. So bunch of big wins there in the MAIS. Let's jump to state of Georgia. Let's talk a little GIAA football. 2 games on Thursday night. Vidalia Heritage 51-0 over Georgia Christian. And then Sherwood Christian 46-13 over Citizens Christian. Let's jump to Friday. Westminster Schools of Augusta 40-16 over Monsignor Donovan Catholic. David Emanuel 3-0 on the year with a 56-6 win over Crisp Academy. Covenant Academy 46-7 win over Holy Spirit Prep. And then Westwood Academy 20-16 over Fullington Westwood 3-0 on the season. And David Emanuel and Westwood, let's see if they play down the road. Let's look at the full schedule. They do on October the 3rd. So let's see if both of them might be unbeaten by the time we get to that game. That'll be a good one to keep an eye on there in the Peach State. Let's go to North Carolina. Kind of jumping all over the place. You had 3 games on Thursday there in North Carolina. Rendell Parrott 60-6 over Jones. JP2 had an 11-man game, 42-14 win over Washington County. And then Wake Christian, 38-22 over Halifax Academy. Rendell Parrott, by the way, 3-0 on the year. Pungo Christian, 50-6 over St. David's. This is on Friday night. Sandhills Classical Christian, 44-0 over Lee Christian. Faith Christian, they are also 3-0 with a 32-18 win over Lawrence Academy. Columbia Academy 38-22 over Northeast. And then here's a big one. A lot of people were looking at this one. Cary Christian, the defending North Carolina champs, at the Pack Panthers, the defending South Carolina champs, and the defending NHFA champs. I don't know why I can't talk today. Of course, they won in Gatlinburg, and Pack had been looking good. But Cary goes to South Carolina and gets the win over the Pack Panthers, 20-18. Great game there. Let me see if there's a box score for it. Let's see if we got a box score and some stats. Come on, Max Preps. Don't do this to me. Max Preps acting up. There is no box score. Pack has some stats in. Looks like Patrick Bennett completed 64% of his passes, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns. Defensively, let's see. Larry Reinhardt, 10 tackles, 5 of them solo. Gage Taylor, 7 tackles with a tackle for loss. Evan Patterson, sack and a half. And Evan Watt with 3 passes defensed. So those are your stat leaders for Pack Panthers in Friday night's loss to Cary Christian. Let's stay in North Carolina and let's go to Christian Independent Conference. Had 2 games played. You had 2 games played Friday night. You had a game Monday night. Little Monday night high school football. Community Christian, they are 4-0 with a 58-14 win over Berean Baptist. And then on Friday night, you had the 2 games played. And Sandhills Classical Christian, 44-0 over Lee Christian. And then Community Christian, this is how they're 4-0, a 38-20 win over Liberty Christian. So Community Christian, in the span of 8 days, they beat Northeast Academy on last Friday. On the 22nd, they beat Berean Baptist on Monday, and then they beat Liberty Christian on Friday. So just on a tear. Unless that JV. Now, the Monday night might have been a JV, to be fair. Kind of need to dig on that one. They might be putting their JV games in there as varsity games. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's jump down to South Carolina. Little SCISA, SCISA action. Lawrence Academy at Wardlaw. Lawrence with a 34-8 win. Richard Wynn, 58-30 over Newberry Academy. Holly Hill Academy, 56-22 over Palmetto Christian. Cathedral Academy, 42-20 over Christian Academy of Myrtle Beach. And then King Academy, 60-0 over Orangeburg Christian. Let's see. Let's jump to. Let's come up to Tennessee real quick. Had some games up in the SEC, SEEK. Tri-Cities Christian, 54-52 over the Chattanooga Patriots. Christian Community School, they're 3-0 with a 32-14 win over the Tennessee Tigers. Tennessee Heat playing an 11-man game, 36-8 loss to Ezel Harding Christian. South Haven Christian hosting Riverside Christian, 54-28 win there. Talked about Freedom and Ezekiel. And that'll do it for Tennessee. Let's go to Virginia. Talk a little Virginia 8-man. You had 3 games on Thursday night. Maryland School for the Deaf 64-6 over Massanutten Military Academy. Broadwater 38-29 over Chincoteague. Southampton 52-6 over Life Christian. And then on Friday you had 3 games. Brunswick Academy 20-0 win over Kinston Forest. Greenbrier Christian 50-0 win over Fuqua. And Blessed Sacrament Huguenot 55-14 win over Rappahannock County. Let me look at that Brunswick Academy game, see if we got any stats in. Kinston Forest put in stats. Brunswick has not, though. You do have a young man, though. If this stat's correct, Devin Dunn with Kinston Forest, 13 tackles. And then you had Ransom Clark with 10 tackles. Dunn also had 2 forced fumbles. So shout out to those young men on having an absolute baller of a game Friday night for Kinston Forest on defense. Offense didn't work out for them very well. Let's jump to Florida. Jump to the SSAA. Had 1 game on Thursday night. Ocala Christian 52-14 win over St. John Lutheran. And then on Friday, St. Joseph Academy 37-20 rather over Geneva Academy. Hernando Christian 50-0 win over Oasis Christian. Hernando 2-0 on the season. Foundation Christian 3-0 on the year, 26-20 win over Donahue Catholic. No stats in that one. Cocoa Beach 27-20 over Masters Academy. All Saints Academy 50-0 over Eastland Christian. Real Life Christian 52-0 win over Lake Mary Prep, and you can go watch the footage from that over on 8-Man Extreme Florida. First Academy of Leesburg, they are also 3-0 with a 57-6 win over Liberty Christian Prep. Merritt Island Christian is 3-0 with a 48-6 win over Tampa Slam. Classical Academy of Sarasota, 55-0 over Riverview Academy. Still verifying if this is a real score. Calvary Chapel, 6. City of Life Christian, 4. If that's a real score, that's the first time I've ever heard of that score. And it would be either 2 field goals or a touchdown, no extra point, and then 2 safeties. And see, I'd love to verify that because there's no box score. See, there's nothing in the game tracker either. If that's a real score, that's insane. 6-4. I've never heard of a 6-4 game. Geneva Classical, 70-0 over Legacy Charter. So Geneva Classical gets their first win of the year. Let me see if I missed anybody. There's Florida. SIFA up in South Carolina. Talked about Carry and Pack. And then GSIC, Georgia School for Innovation and Classics. They played an 11-man game against Calhoun Falls Charter and lost 28-22. So GSIC takes the loss there. Let's see if I missed anybody. Skeesa, Virginia, talked about Trinity Christian's win there. So yeah, I think that's it. A lot of football being played. Everybody's really, they're going by now, and if not now, definitely next week. Everybody will be getting going next week. So, but yeah, shout out to all these young men that balled out Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. If you're in North Carolina, Monday night. I mean, just absolutely barn burners of games there. So big congratulations to them. All the teams that won, several 3-0 teams. I think we had a 4-0. So, teams rolling. Teams are going. Let me see. I did get this. I know there's several teams with open spots on their schedule. Teams still trying to fill spots. Did get an update that the Coastal Hurricanes are working on trying to get a couple more games. Looks like possibly this Friday. It says this Friday's game against Cathedral is canceled. And then it looks like the game on... See, I don't even know if the 27th... Is that a Friday? September 27th? That's a Saturday. Okay, so either the 26th on Friday or the 27th on Saturday. They're still looking for a game on that date, as well as October the 3rd. Yeah, 3rd or 4th, either way. Looks like they're trying to get a game there, and then October 17th. So if you're interested in getting a game booked with the Coastal Hurricanes, they are out of let me see, where are they from? Savannah, Georgia. So they're trying to get games, looks like, on this Friday, this weekend, September 27th, October the 3rd, and October the 17th. So if you want to get a game booked, reach out to us on social media or shoot us an email, and we'll give you the contact info for that head coach, and we'll try to get the ball rolling on that. Excuse the yawn. I don't know what's going on today. Hang on, I'm gonna give me a drink of water real fast. And we're back. Just like the Tennessee Vols. That's right. Tennessee with the win yesterday. Love it. Tennessee with a win and Alabama with a loss. That's a great combination. Great combination. Let me see if our guest is ready. Let's see. See if I missed anybody. I don't think I did. I think I got everybody. By the way, the announcement that we made on our social media, what day was that? We made last Monday, September 15th. We got something big cooking. Something big. I'm not going to give anything away, but it's pretty big. It's pretty big. It's going to change a lot of things, and we're not trying to go head-to-head with anybody, but we're trying to maybe fill a gap that was there. So, once again, I hope you're following Gatlinburg All-American on Instagram. That's the official Instagram of the Gatlinburg All-American Bowl, the All-American Series, the Cap Classic, Rising Stars game. And here's the man that heads it up. Joining me now is Andrew Capps, he's with Rocky Top Sports World. He's the Director of Business Development, and he's the guy that's in charge of this little tiny thing called the Gatlinburg All-American Series. Andrew, what's up, man?
Good afternoon, James. How we doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Before we jump into the watch list, how about that big announcement y'all dropped today?
Yeah. Is that regarding volleyball?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Very excited about that. Always looking at how we can expand the All American series, and had some coaches approach me. That's always kind of how things start. Is coaches approach me. That makes me feel confident. It's something that they believe will work. That's something they believe will benefit their athletes. And volleyball's next. If probably some people out there listening that play club volleyball or have a kid that plays club volleyball, it's definitely, I would say, our top sport. Certainly our top indoor sport at Rocky Top Sports World is volleyball. So we know the experience is top notch, and just really excited to see where this goes.
Well, and I know it's a football show, but there's a lot of players where maybe their sisters play volleyball or girlfriends or maybe the cheerleaders for the football team they play volleyball. So there's a lot of ties between football and volleyball. Same season, same time frame. So really cool that y'all were able to get that going. And what were the dates for that again?
That's November 7th through 8th. So the 7th, late in the afternoon, evening, giving people time to still get here. And even if they have school that day, whether they got to leave early, whatever, we're trying to be respectful of that, especially dropping this so last minute. Is your early arrival day. We are going to do an opening ceremony of sorts that evening, and then our scouting partner NSR will be there getting metrics from these girls that are important for the volleyball side, and then we knock everything out on November the 8th, Saturday, starting with practices in the morning and rolling into pool play, bracket play. So it's much more of a showcase type event, where there actually will be some bracket play element to it, which is going to be new for what we do here.
I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit. Can you give me three volleyball terms?
Yeah, definitely. Um, I think the most interesting one is the libero position,
Yep.
which
Yep.
is the player that um, wears a different color jersey than everyone else. So that's something we've got to navigate when providing jerseys for these players. So something I've been thinking about, but I think that's such a interesting and unique thing to volleyball. Of course, you got your bump, you got your spike, you got your set.
There you go.
Spike being the most exciting thing, obviously, when girl gets up there above the net and spikes it. There's some impressive young ladies I've seen out there that are 6'5" or so. To just it's scary. I wouldn't even want to be on the other side of of one of those. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's an exciting sport. If anybody that's watched it live, it just it can keep going and going. A point can last 10 minutes. So it can get very exciting, and I'm thinking we're going to see some action like that in November.
Well, I had to bring that up with the announcement coming out today. And again, if you guys aren't following Gatlinburg All American on Instagram, so yesterday you dropped version one of the watch list for the Rising Stars game, as well as the junior and the senior list. So let's run through it real quick. A ton of guys, so I'm not going to go through every single name. Obviously, all these young men are we're looking for them to have impressive seasons, and you guys dropped the watch list for Cheer and Twirl as well. I don't want to leave them out.
Of course.
But let's go through it. Rising Stars. Give me five guys right off the top that were almost no brainers in terms of maybe the way they played last year.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. First one on the list, Weston Mikulak. We kind of bent the rules. He has been in the Rising Stars game now 2 years in a row as a seventh and eighth grader.
Wow.
He is just now a freshman at Ambassador Christian, and they are a legitimate state championship contending team with him at quarterback and the skill sets they have around him. He's still just a ninth grader, so I just keep putting him on this list. But he's someone that is more than capable of playing at every game we have. So it's kind of crazy. Like I said, we've been some rules with him, but he is that special type of talent. Um, and I think we'll see some stars by his name here in a couple years. But if he keeps on the trajectory that he is, but he's an exceptional quarterback, strong arm, makes throws on the run, just mature beyond his years. So he kind of headlines that whole list there.
Amba-
He's
Ambassador Christian 2-0 on the year so far, and they play
right, and
Asheville
they play
School
some good
Friday. They
teams.
play Asheville School Friday night at Lenore Ryan College. Cool
Yes,
little
yeah,
setup there.
yeah, they are really doing some great things there at Ambassador. So way above. I think they're further along. This is their second year as a program, I believe. They're much further along probably
I think you're right. Yeah.
uh, than they thought they would be. So yeah, him for sure. Then we've got some guys on here that were here as freshmen. And then I'll point to one of his teammates as well, Adrian Tatum Jr. Played in
Yeah.
the Rising Stars game 2 years ago. Also, I believe he was either an eighth or seventh grader. Big game. He was with the Cabarrus Stallions at the time. He is now with Ambassador as well. Just a sophomore, I believe, but he would be a returner 2 years later after playing in it as a middle schooler. He had a good game, and then his Weston's top wide receiver target, Knowledge Eccles, 6'4", 6'5", something like that, can jump out the building. Only a sophomore. Another guy that's probably gonna have stars by his name one day. We're hoping to get him up here in December. And then you got a name like Will Sunderland with Bethlehem Christian, played in this last year. Mike Tyson, not the boxer, Mike Tyson, the linebacker from the Georgia Force,
Yeah.
exceptional young player, only a sophomore. He played in the game last year. Then you got Liam Watson, Brock Robinson, Jackson Chilcott, Mitchell Westmoreland, and those are guys that played last year as well. Isaiah Cocklow, Jordan Brown. So even though this is a sophomore freshman heavy list, there are some guys that played in this last year's freshman. So that's one of them. And then a big name I want to put out there is Ty McCurry. He was with the Atlas Rattlers last year, homeschool program out of Texas.
Yeah.
He's now at a bigger private school there in Texas, I believe, and just a sophomore, already getting D1 interest. He's one of those prototypical 6'6", pushing 300 pounds or more that can move tackles already at his age. And he's getting a lot of looks already at a young age. So the exciting thing about this list is, on top of it having so many names, is the fact that most of them I'm going off, stats or coaches' recommendation. So these are going to be a lot of guys that we're just going to have to keep watch of throughout the season. Do want to call out one more player as well, and that's Asher Evans from Trinity Christian in Georgia, Dublin, Georgia.
Yep. Yep.
Asher unfortunately suffered a pretty bad leg break, I believe, something that's going to keep him out all season.
Mm.
So he's a guy that played last year, and also he played in the 11-man seniors game as a freshman to provide some depth at safety for them. So he got in the
Wow.
game in that game, and he's a special type of player. And as good as he is on the football field, he might be better on the baseball field. But I know that he's not going to be here in December. He's going to still be rehabbing this injury and trying to get better for baseball, but still going to put his name on there because he's very much deserving of that. Cody Register, his teammate as well, younger brother of Wade, who's number one punter in the country, going to Georgia. He's
Yep.
also a very exceptional specialist himself, but he's also a good lineman. So Cody is a kid that played last year that we're high on this year in his sophomore season.
Couple guys that jump out to me: Henry Bennett from the Pack Panthers, I believe.
Yep, younger
And
brother.
then Dax Vaughn, Nick Nelson, both from East Central, and
Yes.
Sawyer Welch from
Yeah.
Evangel Christian. And
Yeah,
Julian
those are great
Harden.
names.
Julian Harden, sophomore, played
Julian
in the game
Harden, yeah,
last
talk
year.
about, with the injuries that Freedom's having to deal with, all the good players that are out. That's really given Julian a chance to step up and be one of the best players on that team as only a sophomore. And he had a good game in the Rising Stars game last year. Another kid that played as a freshman. And then, I'll throw some names out here to you that um, that stood out, that got on this list because of their performance at the Black Bear Brawl, and that is with the Cincinnati Eagles, Jacoby Moneyham, Jedediah Saunders, and Truett Furnace.
Yep. Yep.
All three guys that played for Cincinnati while they were up here. Jacoby is their quarterback, starting quarterback as a freshman.
Yeah,
and
first
he
start
was
was with you guys. Was in
yes,
Gatlinburg. Yeah.
yes, against Cabarrus, and he was impressive. So that's three young guys. I think Truitt might be a sophomore. He had a pick in that game that was almost returned for a touchdown. So that's really the benefit of the Black Bear Brawl too, is the teams that get invited and accept the invite to come and play is we get to see their players and their cheerleaders in person, and it just helps so much because I can't get to all these games. I wish I could. I can't get to hardly any of them, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I saw every game. I saw every game that was here. We had 12, 14. I'm sorry, 14 teams come through in 2 weeks. So got a good chance to see a lot of talent from all over the country.
Well, and what's cool too is now you got three teams streaming to 8-Man Extreme Alabama. You've got Augusta Eagles, 8-Man Extreme Georgia, Real Life Christian, 8-Man Extreme Florida. So people picking up on it a little bit and able to put their games
Yeah.
out there.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I
Like
don't think
Coach
people
said from us.
I don't think people realize that's another way for you guys. For the people in Florida with NHFA, it's a chance for a lot, and just college coaches in general. It's a great way to
Yeah.
get film out.
It is. It's so easy just to get somebody to do that. Doesn't have to be high quality. You put it on YouTube. It's available for everyone. You never know who's watching that. Or this game is a perfect example of it. I hear from players. Heard from players for years now that went into the All American Bowl with no interest, no offers, and they're starting to hear from people that I didn't hear from. So they're seeing it somewhere, and I believe they're seeing the free broadcast on YouTube. So
Yeah,
it'll always be important for us to make that easily accessible because you never know who's watching it. There's a lot of rules on college coaches being at All-Star games, especially now. Believe it or not, even in the years of NIL, where it seems like it's free range, there's still a lot of rules on on All-Star games. So you have to have it out there, easy to find, easy to watch, and these channels that you're creating is another way to do that. And there's a lot of games I'd like to peep on. I saw the final score of the Cary Christian and Pack Panthers game, and
yeah,
it wasn't streamed, but I would have loved to have been able to see that game.
yeah. Me and you both. Me and you both. Let's jump to the juniors list. Let me give a couple. Let me see a couple of names that jump out. Jake Ferguson, Nathan Vossler from the Augusta Eagles. Patrick Bennett, Pack Panthers. Jace Wood is Hurricanes, I believe, right? Coastal.
Jace is Russell Christian.
Russell Christian, that's right.
Yeah, he was there
I
for
saw Jace,
baseball, and
but
yeah, it's funny. Jace made this list simply because I saw him in baseball and the way he plays baseball and catches, and the way he steals bases. I was like, this kid's got to be good at football too. So
yeah.
honestly, he made it because of that. He's a big kid, but he's strong and fast for his size.
Let's see. Cade Atkinson, two-time Rising Star. He's on there from South Haven Christian.
Yep.
I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that was Rising Star. Well, you probably know some of the Rising
Oh yeah,
Stars.
yeah, tons of them.
Evan Watt, Kyle McFarland.
Yep.
A couple guys that jump out. Mason Beckenhauer. Whole lot of guys from the Rising Stars last 2 years.
Yes, a ton now, and I'll say like people look at these lists, may not seem like a lot of players, but that's well over 400, pushing 500 players between the three games on there, and then another 100 cheerleaders.
Yeah.
So this is a lot of names here, and it's going to be very hard. And this is just the names we know. We know there's going to be a lot of new names pop up through the nomination process that we weren't aware of to make this even harder. But just rattling out some names here from last year's game. Justice Grenier, Christ Prep.
Yep.
He was the MVP of the game, killing it again for that team. And then Ollie Rusher, I mean, just an absolute unit of a left tackle who just goes out there and just looks to hurt people. And it's scary. You see some of his film. He is a scary looking lineman. So Ollie Rusher, and then that was our lineman of the game. Here's a big name too, Malachi Adams. That Navy team last year was coached by a college coaching staff.
Yeah. From
Guy who's been around the
Cornerstone
college
Christian.
game a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Been around the game a lot. And that was probably the player they were raving about the most is through practices was Malachi Adams and his first step. What he have 18, 20 sacks last year as a sophomore, and now he's on track pace to do that again or more his junior season. So he is a really, really good pass rusher, defensive end, defensive lineman type. I'm excited to see what he can do because he's going to be playing in an 11-man format again, which is just going to help his case for being a college recruit even more. Um, and then you got some guys here locally on this list. You got the Lakeway kids, a lot of young, good talent at Lakewood. They have two very good linemen and Pryor Davidson and Skylar Hobson, and then their tight end Nolan Bowers. We had Parker made a joke over PA in that game. It's not Brock, it's Nolan. But he plays just like Brock Bowers, and he's got a great, great build. He's a big, strong, like tight end that can run, can block, can do. I mean, he's that tight end that you want in today's game. So Nolan Bowers is a guy that's high up on the list as well. So
I can tell you had your hands full putting the list together. I got James Wolfe and Barrett Weems twice on
yeah,
there.
yeah,
But
just copy and pasting and all of that. It's a lot of names,
yeah,
but I've been, the difference this year from last year. First of all, I didn't expect it to be as big a hit as it is.
dude,
This,
it is
believe it or
blown
not,
up.
I know it's a big deal to see these kids, and I appreciate that because it helps me more than anyone because I like to go into a season or beginning of season and just know who the guys are. Like who are the guys that we need to watch, and I need to start. Because coaches coaches are busy. It's 7 days a week.
Yeah,
They don't have much time to relax. So we go into a season or start a season, and when they're not as busy, like in the off season, communicating with them and figuring out who are their guys that we need to start watching. And then of course we know there's always going to be breakout players throughout the season, but it's such a convenience for me to have this list of really talented players, but months before we even open up nominations. So I know who to reach out to. I know who to hit up if I haven't seen their name come through, and it just helps us stay on top of things. So I'm glad it's been such a big hit for them because the original um, purpose behind it was to try to help me out.
yeah, yeah. Well, Vince Wilson, Eli Black, Judah Bush. I think you mentioned Owen Lane, a couple other names. As I'm
Yeah,
looking through these names that I'm looking
yeah,
at, Trey Schifferins as well.
yeah, Trace. I'm excited about him. He did transfer to the Nolensville Lions 11-man program, finish out his high school career. His brother, fantastic offensive lineman, as we know, one of the best in 8-man football that we've ever seen, going on to the next level to play. And his brother's more of on the defensive side, more of a defensive end type build. So he's now transferred to an 11-man program, a good homeschool program there that's had players represented in this game before. So only boosted his our feelings for him in those rankings, him making that move. And then what's cool about this list is it's probably our biggest list of Black Bear Brawl MVPs who've
Yeah,
already locked up their spots. Vince Wilson is one. Patrick Bennett, Pack Panthers. The Cincinnati Eagles wide receiver. Trying to remember his name. Peyton Sawyer, the
yep,
kid who made that one-handed catch in the back of the end zone. Peyton Sawyer's already locked in his spot. So guys have already, they're on this list, but they're already in. They don't even have to get nominated. They don't have to do anything. They're in. All they got to do now is say yes or no.
is that Cenith Kalisiak? How do you pronounce his name? Do you know?
Let's see
Left list about bottom third. Cenith. I know he's at Cary, I believe. Trying to some of these names. I'm trying to see how you pronounce them.
Yes, yeah.
That's it.
I don't know. That's a. I was, checking out Carrie, the guys I knew, and then that was a new name on there, but he'd already been putting up some impressive stats
Yeah.
for Carrie through their games this year. So
And just to double down, of course, the guys that were Black Bear Brawl MVPs. We talked about this when we recapped it. The MVPs have an automatic bid, but other than that, just because you're on the watch list is not a guarantee that you're going to be there. Jordan Jacobson can ball out. Not a guarantee. You got to go through the process. So, this is almost just an encouragement. Hey, keep going because people are watching, but keep going. That way you can lock in your spot and get
Right,
voted
right.
in for sure.
This is a good way to get your foot in the door, but you still have to go through the same process as everyone else of that nomination and the film and all that. And a lot of times it's the coach that does it for them. So that always, I mean, if we give anybody the opportunity, they can nominate themselves. Parents can nominate, but obviously the coach nomination really is kind of a stronger
Yeah.
indicator to us. It's always a big deal to us when we get the coaches that just they take the time because it's a timely process. If they're going to nominate 8 of their guys, that could probably take 25-30 minutes because of all the information needed and getting all the correct film, making sure all the stats are in it. But we've been thankful that a lot of coaches in this private and homeschool market are willing to put that time in for their kids. So hopefully the kids appreciate that because like I said, I know that doesn't take a short amount of time, but it means a lot when we see that coach nomination come through.
Well, moving on to class of 26, the seniors for 11 and 8. Good gosh, did you put enough names on here? Good night.
Yes, and I'll say, we will definitely have 2 games for this list. So in some form or fashion. Now I will go ahead and um, spill the beans. There'll probably be 3 games, honestly,
Yeah,
that could benefit juniors and seniors, and then a juniors game standalone if we get the names. I think we will. Um, but there will be an option for 8-man players, 8-man seniors to continue playing an 11-man up here.
good, nice.
I've had some players reach out that have played in the because we're now at the point where we've got 2 and 3 year all-star representation
I was about to say,
that
yeah.
are they're looking to come back their senior year, and it's 8-man players that got the opportunity to play 11-man in the Rising Stars game and the juniors game, and they've reached out to me themselves and asked if they could have that chance as a senior as well, because that, to be honest, that wasn't our setup previously. But that is the goal now. So, spoiler that I'll release at some point. Not gonna sell out on one thing or the other. We're definitely gonna have at least one 8-man game. We just may not have 2 like we did last year.
Yeah. Well, and I think the cool thing about it, and I think I told you before, the cool thing about it though is, you got these seniors that are trying to go to college, and if they can get one, they might play for a small school that can't field an 11 man, but once they get up to Gatlinburg, you're playing on a roster that is big enough to have 11 man, and you're playing with other guys who know what they're doing. Sometimes I think a good player on a team that struggles is maybe overlooked a little bit. But if you can play on a team where everybody knows what they're doing, you're playing 11 man, that's some great, great footage to be able to give out to coaches.
Oh,
On
it
top of
is,
the on
and
top of the film you've already got from the year, and it's just it's a cool way to wrap up the year. So I love that. I'm all for
yeah,
it.
yeah, I agree. It's really the next step in us giving, especially 8-man players, even more that opportunity to play at the next level, if that's what they want. But we also know we have kids that come up here that just want to play one more 8-man game against the best players they can and finish out their high school career that way. And there's some on the 11-man like that side as well. They just know, even if they could have the chance to play at the next level, they just want one more game, end it in Gatlinburg, and then move on with either their career in military or in the workforce or starting college. So,
Yeah, I
um,
think it's cool too because you got a lot of guys that are looking at it saying, you know what, my family has a business, or I'm interested in this trade, or I'm going to the military, or you know what, football's been great, but I'm banged up. I don't want to play the next level, and you could give them an opportunity. Hey, you know what? Not It's not a high stakes game. These guys, you get guys that aren't trying to go to college. Hey, you know what? Here you go. You got one last
yeah.
ride, one last shot to go through it. And it is cool too. I will say with the seniors list, and you mentioned it, you've got guys on here that played in Rising Stars and the juniors, and so as they're moving up through high school, they're able to keep coming back playing a different game. So this list is full of guys that played multiple years, different forms of the game. I'm trying to look through see if there's any names.
Yeah,
Nathaniel
go to the
Whiting.
Augusta Eagles. Yeah, Nathan Whiting, Nathaniel Reese, they're perfect examples. They played in the Rising Stars game as sophomores together. They played last year in the juniors game together, both 11-man format. And then every other game they've played their high school career has been eight-man format. So
Yeah.
that's in their two 11-man games, and they're hoping for one more this year. So, so that was heard, and that's what we're going to do. Now, I will say that my plan is, in a perfect world, I hope that we can field two 8-man teams playing an 11-man format,
Yeah. Oh, that
coached
would be
by
sick.
coaches. Yeah, and that that kind of makes it an 8-man game because everybody's, and it would really be nice to see. Let's put these two games up against each other back to back.
Yep.
Like we
Yep.
had a game full of 11-man players only, and then we had a game full of 8-man players only playing 11-man. And let's compare how they looked. Was there any drop off in talent? Was there any drop off in execution? And I would venture to say there wouldn't be. You wouldn't be
I
able to
think
notice
so.
that.
Well, you look at the
And
juniors game last year, and it was mixed, but what a great game that was.
oh, absolutely. And all your award winners, but one played 8-man football, and the one 11-man winner that Dawson Sims from Windsor, they had just went to 11-man that season, so
Yeah.
they had played 8-man before. So essentially, everybody that won an award in the juniors game was an 8-man player. C.J.
Uh,
Johnson, Jalen Venter, Evan Patterson, and Dawson Sims.
Randall Fanning, Sutton Mallory, Bennett
Yeah,
Bahan,
Georgia Force. Yeah,
Acock, Owen Weisner, Kyrie Owens, just some of the names that jump out. Jack Garza, Carter Lee, let's see, Tyree Brzean, Reed Harvey, let's see, Julian Murdoch, Eli Card, Elijah Brown, Colby Harrison, Jess Nelson, Brody Barksdale. All these names jumping out from multiple years
yeah,
being up there. And then just knowing Micah Smith, um, Jackson McGregor, Isaac Hatfield, all these guys jumping out.
yeah, yeah.
Randall,
Jackson is another Christ Prep kid out of Kansas that had 2 picks last in the game, juniors game last year.
yeah,
Very talented kid. So, and then yeah, you go down. We look at guys. I still have C.J. Johnson on there. We know what he did last year at Springwood, set records. He's now playing big boy 7A football in Alabama and starting running back for Opelika High School. So now he's not going to be able to come because of that league. Doesn't allow kids to play in all-star games, but I'm still putting him on the list. You got J.R. Kennard as well, who was our MVP as a junior in the seniors 11-man game up there.
yeah.
He transferred from Northside to another school out there in South Carolina, but he's still on the list. Daniel Phillips is another guy who transferred. So you keep it. Zechariah Duke, also Georgia Force. He transferred to a big-time private school there, kicking, and has a really good chance to kick at pretty high level.
Noah
Jack
Lee.
Garza, Luke Robinson.
Noah Lee, a
Yes,
guy on there that hasn't been able to come up because of conference rules, but he's
yes.
eligible here for his senior year, and just the way he's balled out, he's a no-brainer. Even though
Oh
he's never
man,
been up there, he's a no-brainer. Love it.
I know. Well, he is. He's a great kid. Talk about someone who is very mature beyond his years and just the talent level. I think he's committed to Jacksonville State.
He is, yeah.
So D1 quarterback out of 8-man football, you love to see it. I mean, he's just a phenomenal athlete. So we get a chance to get him this year. I would be tickled pink. I think we've invited him every year since his freshman year, and he's always responded in a way. And what's weird is it's because of basketball. So he may not be able to come again. It's actually maybe he can, but it's because their basketball team plays in that conference, but their football team doesn't.
Right, right, right,
So
right,
very
right.
weird. I believe his dad's the coach. He's explained that to me.
I think his grandpa. Well, I think his grandpa's the coach.
Or grandpa. There you go.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
in his
Tommy
family.
Miller.
Yeah, and they've just been really great about explaining that. And like if we could get him up here, that would definitely be just massive. So he would be an automatic QB1 on in the biggest game, and he'd have an opportunity to really to show Jacksonville State and their fans why they have a lot to be excited about.
And if that's a young man too that can play in that 11-man format, he's already taking now he can already take a step towards being there because now he's playing in a format that he's going to be in at Jacksonville State. The same number of receivers, same number of linemen, can kind of move that way already.
Right.
And
Yeah, and I
really
want to shout out a few guys from a program in Georgia, Sherwood
Yep.
Christian, who is just on a roll again this year. So Trip Roberts, Quentin
Th-
Murray, and Michael Hall. I think I saw that Trip threw his 100th career passing touchdown
I was about to mention that. Yeah,
last last week. Uh, Quentin Murray, one of the most talented players on this list. Period. Period. So big shout out to that team and those guys. That was our first year having anyone from Sherwood here, and they impressed, and they were part of that team that battled back, coached by Ryan Scott, battled back from being behind 2 or 3 scores and ended up winning that game. So just an impressive effort, and those guys are really standing out to me on this list.
well, something you guys have added recently, and I'll let you run through these names. I'm not as familiar with the names. You're going to know some of the studs on this name, but some of the really good ones on this name. But the cheer watch list as well, the twirl watch list.
Yeah.
Anybody specific that jumps out to you?
Well,
Obviously, they all do, but top of the
yeah.
mind. Maybe a returner.
Um, Yeah, so we actually had, it was our first year ever of doing a most valuable cheerleader award. um, we chose Erin Eicher with Evangel. She participated in the first 2 years of the All American Cheer, and she's on this list as a third year. So she is now someone that she's the only cheerleader that's locked in this year now.
Yep.
Um, but what the reason why she won? She's a very talented cheerleader. She's the captain of that team, and while she was here in Gatlinburg in the Parrot game, she was cheering. I don't know what she's had happen to her arm, but she was cheering in an arm brace, arm cast essentially,
Wow.
and it didn't stop her.
Yeah.
So that really impressed me, and I thought that was a good candidate for um, our first MV most valuable cheerleader because she didn't let that physical thing stop her from being out there, being a captain of her team, and doing as much as she could. So she performed in all the routines. That squad ended up being named the top squad at the event as well. So she's very deserving of that award. So Aaron sticks out. Rachel Grace Day sticks out as a um, very good cheerleader. Again, this will be her third year. She makes it, and her mom has coached one of the teams both years as well. So
Yeah.
um, I never try to make any guarantees, but we know her mom's going to be coaching, and I mean Rachel's doing all the right things to get back up here again. But just like with football, all these cheerleaders have to go through a nomination process, and they have to go through a more strenuous process. They actually have to film and submit an audition live.
Mm.
Live.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can't. They're not really providing film. We give them here's your here's your requirements. It's a minute and a half to 2 minutes. Here's what we need to see. They make that video and then they submit their nomination. So a lot of times there's a delay, and when we get our boom of cheer nominations, because they have to put together their audition. So that's for our committee to watch, and that's the best way for them to determine who is most deserving of being up here. So there it is. There's a lot more that the cheerleaders have to do, but all of these girls, there's a lot of new names on here. A lot of girls from Parrot on here. There's girls from more homeschool 11-man programs in Texas. The Dallas Rattlers has a presence in this list that we've not had in the past. Um, so very excited about Bethlehem Christian has some girls on this list again. They had no one here last year, but they did the year before. So hoping that we can get more girls from that squad as well. But this is well represented. I understand cheer a lot more now. I appreciate it a lot more, and it's been one of the best things we've done with this All American Bowl because of the atmosphere that they've been able to provide, and it
That's a
just takes
high.
it to
It's
the
a high
next
school
level.
atmosphere. It's a high school game.
Right. It feels like a
Yeah.
legitimate high level high school game. And what they do, they come in, they learn a brand new routine with girls they've never met before, and they do it in 2 days, 3 practices, and get out there and perform it flawlessly. It's impressive.
You got families who are able to come up together because they got a boy and a girl, maybe in the
Yes, a lot
event.
of
You've got
siblings. The amount of siblings is mind blowing
yeah.
that we had last year. It was at least 40 sets, I think.
Talk about a learning curve too. Trying to figure out how to nominate cheerleaders.
Yes.
Whole
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
whole new
No.
game.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to learn a lot, but very thankful to the coaches. They know who they are that helped me feel comfortable and confident in what we could provide. I just wanted to make sure that we could provide the same type of experience for cheerleaders that we do for football players, and it's turned out that way. So we're just trying to keep that going, keep the momentum going, um, learn new things every year, and then this year, exciting. We have added twirl. Now there's only two twirlers on this list. Most of your 8-man programs, most of your small private schools, homeschools do not have twirl. So it's going to be very, very thin, I think, this year. But the two girls that we have on here from Bethlehem, very, very much deserving of being on it. They compete nationally, um, and they have a coach, Candy, who's going to be helping us get this off the ground. Who twirled at Georgia, so she has her own studio as well. So we got in with a good contact, a good person that knows what she's doing, and it's going to be a process to build twirl up like we have the other sports.
Well, keep an eye out. You can keep an eye out on the social media on Twitter and Instagram at Gatlinburg All American. I have more information about nominations, time frame, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, and they'll always be putting out that info, as well as for volleyball. I believe volleyball nominations are coming soon, right?
Yes, no,
Yeah.
they're already open.
Are
Yeah,
they? Okay.
volleyball's
There
open.
you
If you
go.
know a volleyball player, go to our socials. It's in our bio. It's on rockytopsportsworld.com/events. You'll see the Gatlinburg All American Volleyball Showcase listed there. Nominations are open. We've been getting them rolling in, and we're going to start selecting here soon as well. So want to give the girls a few more games under their belt before we start doing that. But sometime in the next couple of weeks, you could start seeing selections for volleyball start coming through. And this week, after Labor Day, expect some sort of flyers and official anticipated schedules and game times and everything for All American Bowl. So expect that to be officially released later this week as well.
There you go. Well, Andrew, don't celebrate the win against Long Island University too hard.
Hey, I
And
think some of the All American teams I've put together could be Long Island, to be
oh
honest.
goodness, you might not be wrong. You might not be wrong. Andrew, appreciate you, man, and looking forward to talking to you later on the year as the nominations for football get going.
Yes, sir. I
Appreciate you.
appreciate you having me on. Thanks a lot, James.
Yes, sir. We'll see you.
All right.
Once again, you can follow them on social media at Gatlinburg All American on Instagram and Twitter. Website is rockytopsportsworld.com, and it's where you can find out information about nominations and what, where, when, and get all the information on that. But a big thank you to Andrew for hopping on the show. All right, let's run through the games coming up this weekend. Got a whole bunch of them, so we're just going to jump right into it. Let's go to Virginia. We got games on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. On Thursday, Randolph-Macon Academy. They're at Massanutten Military. Randolph-Macon, their first game of the year. Kinston Forest is on the road on Friday. They're on the road at Southampton. Southampton's 2-0. Fuqua is 0-2, looking for their first win at Brunswick Academy. Model Secondary School for the Deaf. They are at Rappahannock County. And then Chincoteague is on the road at Blessed Sacrament Huguenot. Both those teams 1-1 on the season. On Saturday, unbeaten matchup, Greenbrier Christian and Broadwater Academy, both 2-0. Somebody is taking the L. Fishburne Military, they're at Quantico. Both of those teams starting off their season on Saturday. Let's go here to Tennessee. Let's talk about the Southeastern Extreme Conference. Lancaster Christian on the road at the Tennessee Tigers. Lancaster looking for their first win. Tigers looking to bounce back. Tennessee Heat hosting an 11-man game against Eagleville High School. Let's see. You've got the Chattanooga Patriots looking for their first win on the road against South Haven Christian. Tri-Cities Christian, they're on the road at Christian Community. Tri-Cities 2-1 on the season. Christian Community has yet to lose, and I don't think Tri-Cities has played at Christian Community, so pretty cool matchup there. Let's see. Let's slide over to. Let's go to North Carolina. Let me get to North Carolina real quick. The NCISAA will go through their games first. All their games being played on Friday. Arundel Parrott has an 11-man game against East Carteret. Carteret, one of the two. Randall Parrott is 3-0. Lee Christian is at Matamuski, supposed to be at Matamuski. We'll see. It's their first game of the year. Pungo Christian on the road at Northeast Academy. JP2 is at Halifax Academy. JP2 2-0 on the year. Wake Christian, they are at Faith Christian, who's 3-0 on the season. Lawrence Academy 1-1 at Life Christian, who's looking for their first win. And then Sandhills Classical Christian, they're 3-0, and they're at Cary Christian, who is 2-0. So somebody taking their first loss of the season coming up on Friday. And then also in North Carolina, you've got the Christian Independent Conference. You have 4 games on Friday night. Went through Lee Christian, Matamuski, Sandhills Classical at Cary. Then you've got Berean Baptist at Community Christian, rematch of the game they played this past Monday night. Community Christian 4-0 on the year. And then Father Capodanno, they are at Liberty Christian, who's looking for their first win. They're sitting at 0-2. Let's go to Arkansas. Let's start with the Heartland Christian Athletic Association. On Friday, you have Cave City at Abundant Life. Abundant Life 2-0 on the year. Arkansas Christian, they are supposed to host Southwest Christian. We'll see if that game ends up being played. Southwest having forfeited that first game. And then you've got some other games happening in Kansas and Oklahoma. Let's go to AAA there in Arkansas. Let me see, where did I put AAA? There it is. The North Division, let's run through it real quick. Dermott looking for their first win. They're at Augusta High School. Corning at Rector. And Guy Perkins is at Hermitage, who's 1-0 on the season. Let's go to the South Division. You have talked about, let's see, Marvell. Marvell High School is at Sabayaco Academy. Woodlawn High School is at Rosebud High School. Brinkley at Marshall. And then Dermott, well, we'll have to see because this is Dermott at Augusta, and then it says Dermott at Claiborne. So I'm thinking Claiborne is probably going to be the game that they're playing. I don't think they're playing Augusta. Probably Claiborne, but we'll clarify that. We'll try to clarify that. The club division in Arkansas in the AAA. Let's see. Nope, I got all these. Brinkley Marshall, Marvell Sabayaco, Woodlawn Rosebud, and Corning and Rector High School. Let's go to Alabama and talk about the AISA. Got a game Thursday night. Cornerstone Christian, they're on the road at Trinity Christian. Cornerstone 2-0. Trinity looking for their first win of the year. And then 4 games being played on Friday night. Macon East is at North River. Macon East unbeaten on the year. Heritage Christian, their first year having football. They're on the road at Snook Christian, way down south by the Florida border, as well as Escambia. They're way down. But Heritage and Snook playing on Friday night, both looking for their first wins. Evangel Christian is supposed to play at Southern Prep, kind of a fluid situation, so we'll keep an eye on it. And then Escambia is at Springwood Friday night. Escambia 2-0 on the season. Let's look at the CFA West. Russell Christian is at Cornerstone Christian. Columbus Christian and Tuscaloosa Christian, little CFA MAIS matchup there. Jacksonville Christian 2-0 on the year at Tabernacle, looking for their first win. And then Victory Christian is supposed to play Unity Christian from Leland, Mississippi. We'll see if that game happens. Neither team has either played a game or had a score reported on Max Prep, so we'll keep an eye on that. Friday, let's jump to the ACSC. On Friday, you've got American Sports Prep at Ezekiel Academy. Let's see. MAIS 1A. See, I thought River Oaks was on here. I thought that I saw their score was that they were losing the other night. Let me see if they put out anything on social media. No. Okay, so Max Preps has them at 1-0. I think they may be 1-1, but I'll verify that. Let me skip forward to Friday. So Evangel and River Oaks, big matchup. We didn't get it in Florida, but we're getting it this week. And then Lighthouse Warriors, they're 2-0. They're at Southern Christian, who's 3-0. So a big in-division, in-conference matchup there. And on Saturday, the East Central you'll be able to watch that Lighthouse Southern Christian game, by the way, on 8-Man Extreme Alabama. And then another one you can watch on Saturday, the East Central Patriots. They're hosting the Mississippi Tornadoes, who've only played the one game in Gatlinburg against Southern Christian. So Tornadoes at Patriots, and you'll be able to watch that on 8-Man Extreme Alabama on Saturday. 4 p.m. kickoff set for that one. Let's see. Let's go to Florida. Talk about the SSAA. 3 games on Thursday night. Masters Academy at Zephyr Hills Christian. I think that's an 11-man game. All Saints Academy at City of Life, and then Canterbury at Babcock. I think that's an 11-man game. Legacy Charter and Oasis Christian. They are both looking for their first win of the year. Legacy 0-3, Oasis 0-2. Lake Mary Prep is at Donahue Catholic. Both are 1-1. Academy at the Lakes, they're at First Academy of Leesburg, who's 3-0 on the season. Calvary Chapel Academy at First Coast Christian. Eastland Christian at Cornerstone Academy. Hernando Christian and Real Life Christian. We talked to Coach Sousa a couple weeks ago. He highlighted this game. Both these teams 2-0 going into this one. Shorecrest Prep on the road at Bell Creek Academy. Tampa Slam is at Ocala Christian. They're both 1-2. As well as Liberty Christian Prep at the Classical Academy of Sarasota. Both these teams 1-2. Merritt Island Christian, they are 3-0 on the road at Countryside Christian. So that'll be a big one. Geneva Classical at Lakeside Christian, and then Geneva Academy at the Masters Academy. And then we have one game on Saturday, Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. They're in Maryland to take on the Maryland School for the Deaf, who are 1-1. Let's see, that's Florida. Let's go to Georgia. Talk a little GIAA football. Westminster Christian Academy. They are at GSIC, Georgia School for Innovation in the Classics. Holy Spirit Prep looking for their first win of the year. They're at Citizens Christian. Grace Christian also looking for their first win at Vidalia Heritage. Sherwood Christian at Crisp Academy. Sherwood 2-0 on the year. Westminster Schools of Augusta. They're at Stewart County. This has got Holy Spirit Prep at St. Mary's as well. So I'm not sure which game is the one that's happening. David Emanuel, 3-0 at John Hancock Academy. Fullington Academy and Georgia Christian, both 2-1. And then Covenant Academy at 2-1. They're on the road at Westwood, who is 3-0 on the season. So we'll see how that one plays out there in the state of Georgia. Let's jump down to Louisiana. 3 games played in the ACEL on Thursday. Mid-State Homeschool 3-1 at Mount Olive Christian, who's 0-4. First Baptist Christian 1-3 at Freedom Life Academy, who might be either 2-2 or 1-3. Not sure. Score's not reported yet. And then Acadiana Christian. They're at the North Shore Vultures, who, again, depending on what the score was this past Saturday or yesterday, it was either was it yesterday or Friday? It was yesterday. Still don't know what the score is on that one. So North Shore might have gotten their first win. If not, they're looking for it on Thursday night. On Friday, SWLA, Southwest Louisiana Homeschool, they are 3-1. I don't know why this is 3-0. They're at JPG, who is 4-0 on the season. Let's see. Let's go to... who have we not talked about? Let's go to Mississippi. Let's run through Mississippi. Let's start with the Mid-South Christian Football League. One game on Friday night. Magnolia Wildcats. They are at the Meridian Flyers. Magnolia looking for their first win of the year. Meridian coming off that loss last night. And then Pine Belt, 2-2. They're on the road at SAHE. Kind of curious. Let's do a little live Google. See if we can figure out who this is. I'm not seeing anything. They're in Brandon, Mississippi. SAHE. Let me see. Might be able to find. I think I still have the logo for that conference. Let me see if I have the logo. Little live homework here. Should have had this pulled up beforehand. Let's see. Pine Belt, Mississippi, Slidell, Faithful Explorers, Magnolia. Okay, well we'll figure out what that stands for. I kind of want to know. I'll try to figure out before next week. How about that? Try to see what the SAHE stands for. The Sahi Warriors, maybe. All right. Getting back on track. Got distracted there for a second. But they do play. They host the Pine Belt Spartans on Saturday there in the Mid-South Christian Football League. Staying in Mississippi, got a whole lot of games. Let me. Well, no, we'll go back. We'll come back to that. Let's run through MAIS real quick on Friday night. Talked about River Oaks and Evangel, Newton County Academy at Christ Covenant, Ben's Ford is at Silva Bay. DeSoto and Humphreys both 2-0, looking for their first win. Calhoun Academy is at North Sunflower. They're 0-2, both looking for their first win. DeSoto and Humphreys. One of them is going to take their first loss, is what I meant. And then Calhoun and North Sunflower looking for their first win. Benton Academy and Lee Academy looking for their first win as well. Delta Streets at Central Homes. Prentice at Tallulah. Deer Creek is 2-0. They're at Tunica Academy, rather. Prairie View Academy is supposed to be at Union Christian. And then Marvell at Delta. Marvell 2-0. Delta 0-2 on the season. Let me go to MAIS 2A. Let's see who we didn't talk about. Hebron Christian at Kemper Academy. Both those teams 0-2. Briarfield at Franklin Academy, both looking for their first win. Northeast Baptist, independent team there in Louisiana, they are kicking their season off. And then I talked about Columbus Christian at Tuscaloosa Christian, little MAIS CFA crossover there. Columbus 2-0 on the season. Let's go to South Carolina. Let's talk about the SIFA first. Talked about Westminster Christian at Georgia School for Innovation in the Classics. Pack Panthers are off this week. Orangeburg Christian at the Augusta Eagles. You can watch that on 8-Man Extreme Georgia. That game will be broadcast on that channel, streamed on that channel. The Westminster Georgia School for Innovation in the Classics, that one's supposed to kick off at 4:30. It's interesting. And then Coastal Hurricanes looking for a game coming up this Friday. And again, if you're interested in trying to reach out to them, hit us up, and you can shoot us a message on social media, and we'll try to get you that contact info. Wardlaw, let's go to Skeesa. Wardlaw Academy at Newberry. Both of them are 0-2. Cathedral Academy at Cross Schools. Palmetto Christian is at JDA. Lawrence is at Christian Academy of Myrtle Beach. King Academy is at Richard Wynn. King is 2-0 on the year. And then King's Academy. So the King's Academy and WW King Academy, two separate schools. The King's Academy is at Holly Hill Academy, and they are 2-0 on the season. Let me see if I missed anybody. Talked about Skeesa. Got North Carolina, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Arkansas. I think that's it. I think that's all the scores, all the games coming up. Again, you'll be able to watch two of the games on 8-Man Extreme Alabama. That's the East Central Patriots hosting the Mississippi Tornadoes, and Southern Christian. That one will be on Saturday. Southern Christian hosting the Lighthouse Warriors. You'll be able to watch that on Friday. Augusta Eagles hosting Westminster Christian. You'll be able to watch that on 8-Man Extreme Georgia. And then Real Life in Hernando. You should be able to watch that come Saturday night, maybe Sunday, maybe when that game will be uploaded. So far, that's the schedule. That's how it's been going there. And if you're interested in getting involved with these channels, hit us up on social media. You can shoot us a text, shoot us an email, 8manextreme@gmail.com, and we can get the ball rolling to get you set up for that. A lot of great football being streamed on those channels. Very, very excited. Very thankful to the people who have been getting involved with the streaming and really trying to contribute to that. Really, really appreciate them jumping out and getting involved. So, I think that does it. I think y'all have listened to enough of my voice. Once again, let's see, Blake Biggs he got the win. They got the win yesterday. Mississippi State got the win, but at what cost? They struggled a little bit. So, anyways, football's in full swing. College is in full swing. High school's in full swing. I think the NFL's coming up maybe this week. I don't know. I don't keep up with the NFL as much. But, anyways, that'll do it for Extreme Talk presented by Cornett Performance. A big thank you to Cornett Performance for being the sponsor this season. You can hit them up at Cornett Performance on Instagram, CornettPerformance@gmail.com. You can get your free evaluation. Thank you so much for listening. And we got football coming up this weekend. We'll catch you next week. See ya!